I made that one up, Jill.
has had a lot of crazy stories for us this year, and tonight won't disappoint either. Please join me in welcoming Jillian with her speech, Tetrahedron. We all have expectations, but when things don't go as planned, it doesn't have to derail you. I experienced that when I went hiking up the Tetrahedron a few weeks ago. It was with my cousins Livy and Dizzy, Arna, their dad, Allie, my other cousin, and her boyfriend Nick. We drove to the parking lot and barely made it. The tire ruts in the road were super deep and there was 3 feet of snow on the ground. It was still coming down. I can't tell you how glad we were to see that cabin after 4 long hours of trudging through the deep snow path that Nick broke for us. It was cold inside, but at least it was dry and had a fire we could start. When we were all settled in, we took our crazy carpets across the frozen lake and up the big, big hill on the other side. It felt like we climbed forever. When we finally made it to the top, the view was amazing in every direction. Ocean, peaks, trees, and of course snow. Now we had a whole mountain to slide down. I went down last on the first hill. I think I'm a magnet to trees. I immediately veered from the track and into the nearest one. I repeated that so many times that day, I lost count. We got back to the cabin and I was bruised from head to toe. Allie decided to start supper, so we all unpacked our bags to see what ingredients we had. Allie had packed the food for each of us, so we had no idea what to expect. It turned out we had chocolate, bread, cheese, and noodles. Odd, but exotic. Allie hadn't actually planned the dinner. She had just brought whatever she could find in the kitchen. So we cooked our supper on the wood stove and dried our soggy boots beside it. We forgot all about our boots because although there were 6 of us, we were fighting over 2 bowls and 4 spoons. Supper was chaos, so that was nothing. Suddenly Livy said, "Do you guys smell something burning?" It was my boots next to the wood stove. The bottoms had completely melted with a 3-inch long hole going right through the side of the sole. Nick's socks were also burnt to a black crisp. We would have to deal with that in the morning. It was dark by then, and none of us had brought flashlights. Luckily we had candles, but nothing to put them on. That was when Nick came up with the brilliant idea to use Arna's beer cans to put the candles in. We just stuffed the candles into the top of the can, punched a hole in the side, and hung it on a nail on the wall. Genius. It was dark. Oh, no. In the middle of the night, Dizzy got up to go to the washroom. She came back in looking for a bottle of water to wash her hands with. She finally found one and washed her hands as quickly as possible. After pouring the fluid all over her hands, Dizzy realized that the liquid she had thought to be water was actually Nick's whiskey. Her hands had never been cleaner. When we were finally ready to leave in the morning, I had to try to get my melted boots on. We pushed and pulled until Allie gave up. "Jillian, you're just going to have to hike back in my slippers." She wasn't joking. She actually got them out for me. That did it. One more push and my boot just popped right into place on my foot. I crossed my fingers that I'd be able to get them off later. We finally headed back to the truck, and the 3 feet of snow from yesterday was now 3 feet of slippery, squishy, sopping wet slush. Livy, Dizzy, and I all got out our crazy carpets, and because the whole trail was very steep, we tobogganed almost all the way down to where the car was parked. But you can't toboggan on dirt and gravel, so as hard as we tried to stay in the tire ruts and surf on the 8 inches of flowing water, we couldn't move. So we got up and walked. We were soaked. As we walked back to the car, Dizzy and I were laughing. "Hey Jill," she said, "our friends are all in the tropics. They're going to come home with stories of drinking pina coladas on the beach, surfing on huge waves, and having fancy dinners at resorts by candlelight. Not us. Our stories are going to be of drinking melted snow with pine needles in it, surfing the 8 inches of water on our crazy carpet, and having Mr. Noodles and cheese by candlelight with the help of a few trusty beer cans. Despite the bumps and bruises, I would gladly repeat that whole trip again. We all have expectations, but when things don't go as planned, try to make the best of it. My trip up the Tetrahedron didn't go as planned at all, but I loved it. Next time you go on a trip that isn't anything like you're expecting, enjoy yourself. That may be a trip you look back on as one of your all-time favorites. Thank you.